so obvious, parental alienation, whatever name you use it. So what is the point in this information? So I studied a series of articles in 5 languages. So every article I write in, normally in German, I translate it into Spanish, English, French, and now also Italian. In my research 3 years ago, I found out the damage of parental alienation on adult persons that suffer from it as children. And I compare them, how are they in comparison to adults that grew up in intact families or in separated families. And their life satisfaction is very, very bad compared to them. And also the mental health and even the physical health. 2 years after, I posed exactly the same questions to the parents. So 6 groups of parents, fathers, mothers, intact, fathers, mothers, separated, father, mothers, alienated. And how do you feel? The results were really similar. So the suffering is enormous. Is there anything that explains both things at the same time? The suffering of the parents, which is logical, and also to the children. And if you hear what the parents say, because they can formulate it, the children suffer that as children and they cannot elaborate. They are just suffering as adults without knowing exactly why. But the parents can say something like it's worse than death, because you can say goodbye to your child when he's dead, but your child is living anywhere and you have no access to it. And the child has learned to hate me after a while. So it's worse than death. So I said, there's the attachment theory, which every psychologist knows. But the attachment theory is rather, it's not simple. It shows a very limited way of things. It's just if the attachment to your child is secure, your child will live healthy. And it is secure if you give your child security and confidence and love. If you don't, the child will suffering forever. And there are 3 types of insecure attachment. But I was wondering, what is the point of attachment? When the point of attachment is something new, a way of evolution only by you human beings to assure that we're going to take care of our children and the children to fulfill their development. And I say, why? We are the only beings in nature that need that. So imagine even chimpanzees, gorillas, just after birth, they can hold the mother and go. But we cannot. So we are unable to do that until we are, I don't know, 3, 4, 5. At the very beginning. At that time, we are not mature to take our own decisions, but at least we can run away. So let's say until we are 10, we are dependent on our parents, on our environment. We need that time because we are born too early. We are more intelligent, so our head is big and gets bigger. And the other one is we are bipedal. We go on both feet. So when a mother gives birth, we have to go through her body out. If the development of intelligence is bigger, we'll never get out. In nature, there is no example of such difficult births. And the second one is because we are bipedal, our hips are, let's say, narrow. So these are the 2 preconditions. It's a knowledge that passed from mother to mother to help the mother giving birth. So when we get born, we are extremely immature. There's a word for that, altriciality. So we are really immature. No other living being is so immature as that. So my hypothesis would be attachment is in reality, put into the context of evolution, the continuation of pregnancy. How can nature assure that a mother takes care of the baby so fiercely to protect it in any case, and not only the mother, but also the father feels attached to the mother to protect her, and also the child. And you look at that and it makes sense. It is not only we know how the body of the mother transforms with pregnancy, and the hormones are different, and there are specific hormones to attach to the child, like oxytocin. Also, if you examine the father, he develops similar hormones to get attached to the mother and the child. But it's not enough, it gets further. We have examined, and that's new research, the head of the mother, and it transforms itself with the pregnancy in order to better understand and perceive what is required, what the baby wants, and to get attached to it. So the cognitive side, parts of the brain, in even the deeper subcortical areas, gets smaller, and the receptive one gets bigger. It happens the same with the fathers, but in a smaller scale. So everything is ready to protect the child for a long time. Once you are a mother, you remain a mother forever. In the life of women, there are two major transformations in the brain. The first one is adolescence, so from girl to woman, and the second one from woman to mother. And both changes are huge, similar, and irreversible. And then under this context, you can explain the suffering of the child without the parents and of the parents without the child. At least I can explain now why parents suffer and why children suffer from parental alienation. Which is the point in negate, in deny something which is obvious. Sometimes you need to show the dimension of parental alienation. And no, because there's no statistics, nobody knows. You can suppose in Germany, only in Germany, it could be about 20,000 cases every year, children. But now, with my research, both researchers, we can add as much as double. And say it's not only the children, it's also the mothers and the fathers alienated. So you say it's not 20,000, it's 40,000. And then you say, okay, if the fathers are affected, how about the siblings? Because sometimes it's not only the child, but the children, or they are separated in two homes. So let's say, and the grandparents, they're not able to see. So let's say the scale is much more than 20,000, let's say 5 times as much, 100,000 only in Germany. If this is truth, and you can say why it is truth and why it is necessary, while we are social beings and we are not individuals. We became very individualistic in our society, but in the core, where we were made as human beings 20,000 years ago, we were social beings because that was our advantage. It's not only intelligence, it's intelligence in a social context, because nobody could have survived that time only with intelligence, but the group assured the survival. We should consider parental alienation as a societal problem, a big societal problem. You cannot say there are many other problems, events, negative events in society that affect 100,000 people every year in a society. This is why you say, hey, that's a real dimension, so let's do something about that.